Okay, so I'm going to show you my library management application. You access it by going to localhost 8080, and it'll take you to the home page here. It's just a simple front-end page. It just says welcome to the library. It has a navigation bar and a footer here. It has home, books, return books, checkout, login, create account, and log out. Some of these features like return book and checkout, you have to be actually logged in to view the page. If you're not logged in, it'll give you this message. If you are logged in, it'll show you the actual return book page. And same for checkout, you have to be logged in, otherwise it'll render you a denial page. So when you actually go to log in, you just put in your email, you put in your password, and it'll log you in. If you're successful, it'll show you a success message. If it's unsuccessful, it'll show you a denial message. So after you're logged in, you give you books, search for a title, for example. And well, you actually have to put the author's name as well. So let me do that real quick. And then once you do that, it'll render the book information here for the specific book that you were searching for. Now, if you want to get a list of all the books, you click up here to get a list of the books, and the books will populate onto the page. Right now we only have 2 in our database, so that's why you only see 2 here. If you add more, it'll just keep going until all the books are filled here. So after you look at the books, you can either check out a book or return a book. Since we already have a book checked out, I'm going to show you this right here. So when you go to the book return page, this is what it's going to show as. And then when you click show borrowings, it's going to get a list of the results. Currently, I actually don't have a book checked out, so I'll show you how that works right now. For the checkout page, the user doesn't have to type in any information. All they have to fill in is the drop-down selection of what book they want and the date that they checked it out. So I did a drop-down menu, that way there's no input errors. You just put the date and what book you want. So after that, you click submit, and it'll give you a success page saying the book has been checked out, and then you can visit the borrowing records tab to view or return a book. So if you go to return book, now you click show borrowings, it'll populate with the books that you currently have checked out. You're only able to check out one, that's why there's only one here. And so when you go to return it, if there's no late fee, which means it's less than 10 days since you checked it out, it'll just give you this simple message saying book returned successfully. Now if we go back and check out another book and then come to return it past 10 days, it'll give you a success message and tell you how much your late fee is. It's $1 per day late, so it'll be $16 for here because it was 16 days late. So I mean yeah, basically. Okay, and so after you're done with doing everything, you can log out here, and it'll give you a logout message that you successfully logged out. If you want to create an account, it's simple to create an account as well. You just fill in your email, your name, password, and boom, you have a new account, right? And so the way the backend works for this, is I have a Node server and APIs in the Python file. So Node, we're creating the endpoints here and using them to call the APIs from the Python file. So for Node, we need Express, Axios, request, path, everything you see here, basically. All right, so this beginning section is just setting up the app and its middleware that we're going to use. So after doing that, I started writing the endpoints here. This is just the home endpoint, login endpoint, process login, and everything. The structure of each endpoint is pretty much the same. If I'm not making a API call, I'm just going to really render the page and whatever information I need in a variable. This one is the home page. We have the message variable, and if you're just calling it regularly, it'll render the home page with the message, welcome to the library management system, right? And so besides that, if we are actually making an API call, say for like a post route, we send the variables to the API in a constant variable, and then using Axios post or Axios get, in this case it's post, you will send the variables here in this section and then wait for the response. Okay? If the response is good, which indicates a 200 code, if the status is good, we'll get the response and store that information in whatever variable we need. It could either be a session variable so that it'll persist through each page, or it'll just be its own individual variable that we can use for the specific call that we made. So like for this one, I have request session for first name, last name, email, and customer ID. Once they log in, it'll store those variables in the session, and we can always access that. That's how it's able to populate the checkout drop-down list without having the user have to enter anything in, because we already have that stored in the book session here. Okay, and so the API is just simple APIs using Flask, the SQL credentials that we imported before, and the SQL logic to execute and read update queries or read queries. And so simple APIs, you define the route here, either post, get, delete, put, whatever route you need, and then you put the route name. And so you can use the route name on the server side with Node to call it whenever you need it. Okay, and so just in this case, after you make the route, you have to make the function for the route, which is what you see at the bottoms here. So for some of them, we need user input. That's why we have user input here, but we don't have it here. For the GET request, we don't need any user input. That's why it's blank on this side. But that's basically how it works. When a user goes to an endpoint, if it needs an API call, Axios does that for us. We wait for the response, and we take that response data, store it in a variable, and render it out accordingly to how we need it. Thank you.